Here's a really great exercise we've been using as an icebreaker for MBTI presentations. It sets the scene for explaining the value of the MBTI framework to people who might be a little sceptical about it, and is particularly powerful as a counter to the common complaint about being put in a box. It takes about 5 minutes and gives you a hook for presenting the framework's benefits in a way that people can see and experience for themselves. Like any good icebreaker, it can also provide you with useful behavioural observations of how different people undertake the exercise that you can refer to later in your MBTI session. The exercise is presented by Thomas Lorenz and Angela Hocher in their book, referenced at the bottom of these slides. We are grateful to them for allowing us to share it with you now. So on to the exercise. The next screen features the numbers 1 through 54. Your task is to find each number in order, starting with 1, then 2, then 3, and so on, all the way to 54. Ordinarily, I'd give at least a minute for this task. If you want to try this out for yourself, you'll need to hit the pause button when you get to the next screen. So how did you find it? Most people find it quite difficult and not a little frustrating. Some numbers really stand out. Some numbers are harder to see. You may not have found them all in the time allowed, but hopefully you'll have made some progress, even if you did get a bit frustrated. And if you did hit the pause button, you still may have even given up without getting to 54. But what has all this got to do with people, personality, and the MBTI framework? Although the 54 numbers appear to be positioned randomly, there is an underlying system or logic to their positioning and clustering. By applying a framework, you can see this pattern more clearly. And once you know the underlying framework, the exercise becomes much easier to do. You can see where the numbers are in relation to each other and can more easily step through the sequence. Try it again if you like. You should now be able to count up from 1 to 54 really quite quickly. Of course, this is a simple analogy, but it does demonstrate the value of a framework in helping us to more easily understand something that otherwise appears very complex. Just like the numbers on the screen, people can appear to be quite random. When you have time with them, you can usually figure them out, who is similar to who and who is different. But using the MBTI framework, you have a powerful tool that makes this task much easier, meaning that you can shortcut the getting to know you process. Moreover, the MBTI provides a positive and valuing framework to really understand these differences and to make the most of that insight. Now that you've seen this exercise firsthand, let's talk a bit about the delivery with a group or team. You can download this slide presentation with facilitator notes from the OPP website at www.opp.com/icebreakers. Feel free to edit the slides to fit into your own presentations, but we would appreciate it if you could always include reference to OPP and to the authors. Before revealing the numbers slide, instruct people about the task ahead. In their heads, they should find the numbers from 1 to 54 in order. Depending on the size of your group, or how much time you have available to give it, ask participants to stand up or raise a hand when they have finished, and allow enough time for everybody in the room to finish. Or you might want to impose a time limit. For groups who know about type, you could set it up as being an SN exercise. Once the exercise is finished, and before moving to the next slide, it's worth putting everyone at ease by recognizing that the exercise is actually quite difficult, and then explore why. For example, point out that the numbers look very different to each other and appear to be randomly placed. Let them tell you about their experience. You are likely to pick up some differences in how individuals approach the task. For example, extroverts might find it difficult not to talk, or turn this into a group exercise and discussion. Intuitives may become frustrated when being asked to attend to what they would consider to be silly details. Those with a judging preference are the ones most likely to get frustrated if you don't give them enough time to finish. NT types often become quite competitive. And in my experience, ENP types may create their own take on the task or bend the rules a little for expediency, or simply not have been fully listening when the instructions were given. These two slides allow you to demonstrate that by applying a framework you can start to make sense of where each number is relative to the others, and you can see a pattern emerging. By applying the framework, finding each number becomes easier. It's important to explain that the MBTI framework is more complex than this simple exercise, but hopefully this demonstrates that having a framework to understand and identify things in relation to each other, even when they may appear quite different, is really rather helpful. It's a great scene setter for going on to explain the MBTI framework. We hope you've found this content useful. We'd love to know your thoughts and to hear about how you've used it. If you have favourite icebreakers or exercises that you'd like to share, or if there are any other concepts you'd like us to help you explain, then please let us know. You can get in touch with me, Penny Moyle, by emailing inquiry@opp.com or through our social media channels on Facebook, LinkedIn or Twitter. We love to get feedback and ideas for how else we can help you to deliver great MBTI events.